asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Thank you for joining. This is Discover Crypto. I'm your host, DZ. We have a major show for you today. We must talk about JP Morgan choosing an Ethereum layer 2 for their internal crypto transactions. This is major news. This is going to have a lot of reverberations for the ETH landscape. Also, Bitcoin ETF flows snap the losing streak. What happened last time? We saw $500 million in inflows after a bunch of red days. You will be shocked by the price action and potential XRP ETF tomorrow. So go ahead and smash the like buttons. Pause what you're doing. And today I am joined by TJ. TJ, how are you doing? Good morning, TJ.
I'm doing great. Just hit the like button there myself. It is a good morning. It's a beautiful day when we're talking about Ethereum and banks coming back to Ethereum. I love to see it. Love to see JP Morgan bending the knee. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, famously very anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin, anti-Ethereum, and seeing them come all the way back around, even though while they were publicly bashing it, they were internally working on it and building on it. And here they are all the way back around using Base.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bitcoin is loving this news right now, and the U.S. Open is down, and it's down. So we have lost a couple thousand, few $1,000s here. Yeah, almost about 2K over the past few hours. So the markets are going down a little bit lower, but I did hear someone say, look at the 20-minute, almost shouldn't reveal this, the 20-minute 940 candle will give you a lot of insight for the direction of the day. So I'm going to be seeing if that does play out. Let's look at the rest of the crypto market because this is major news. JP Morgan getting involved in crypto. And in the past hour or two, you can see, yeah, crypto is trying to crater. Bitcoin holding on very, very faintly to a green candle, 0.1%, ETH 0.3%, but XRP is down, BNB is down, Solana is down, Tron, Dogecoin, Cardano, everything is down here. When you're looking for the little bit of a winner, you have Story, you have Canton. We're going to briefly mention Canton. And TJ, shout out to Drew, calling Canton early.
Yeah, that was, I guess, if you guys watched it, we just did a video on this. Drew crushed it with the integration, covered when it was launching. You could get it on Kraken. I know some of you guys in the Discord have purchased it because I saw the screenshots in the Discord. So if you guys haven't had a chance, we actually are just getting, by the way, this is new for the Discord. If you guys are trading in there a lot, you will start to see brand new signals coming in. If you haven't started yet, we're going to be posting. Again, we have a professional trader that's posting very good hit rate trades every single day. Looks like, multiple, 5, 7, 8, 10 trades a day. Looked like from what I see about 70-80% win rate. So if you're not in there yet, stay tuned. But I know that you guys did crush it with Canton because I saw the P&Ls.
Yeah, and let's look at what's losing here. We have Uniswap down, Zcash down, Trump down, ICP down. You will see, except for, I would say all the way until Tau. We don't see it on the screen just yet. Keep scrolling. There's Tau. Except for Tau, everything has a very good weekly or monthly, and so maybe a little bit of consolidation here. Trump just kind of edging up, but even DOT was up 20% for the week, so we are seeing a little bit of a pullback here. ARB coming in a little bit neutral, but near also well up for the week here, and Zcash flat for the week, but 80% for the monthly. So we are seeing just some profit taken across the board. Now you see Bitcoin is falling, but let's check in on ETH because we have major ETH news, and ETH also not looking all that great. We have a little bit of just some downward pressure. We go down to the 1 hour. We do have that potential head and shoulders I want to share, but this is going to be on a large time frame, and we are still holding the trend here, still holding the shape of the right shoulder, and we did give that target yesterday. Crazy target for ETH if this does play out, but I do want to check in on the 1 hour. Look at the RSI here. You can see the RSI coming down. We are seeing a little bit of overheated here. And now that's why we're seeing these just deep red candles. But all eyes on the American market today. But if you were holding ETH, this is someone, TJ. There is someone waking up from a coma You're in a coma for 4 years. Oh boy, I can't wait to see how much my ETH portfolio is worth. Can you imagine waking up from a coma? JP Morgan is using an ETH L2. We have digital asset treasuries. We have someone trying to buy 5% of all the ETH in existence, and it's the same price as 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's if you this is me waking up from ETH. This is smash the likes or let us know in the chat if you're an ETH holder that might be frustrated by the price action. You get all the bullish news in the world, but the price seems to be static. See this super chat here. Can we talk about Hoskinson calling Cowan an idiot? I guess
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. I do know, Ben Cowan, he's only bullish on a handful of altcoins. You have Ethereum. You do have Cardano in there. A lot of his into the cryptoverse buyers, they're all heavy in Cardano in 2020, 2021. So maybe, maybe he talked about that ADA BTC chart a little too much there.
Well, here's what gets me excited. Coming back, if Ethereum doesn't get me excited because of price action, Aerodrome does. It just keeps winning. It's up again on the 24-hour. It's going to be very bullish on the news of JP Morgan coming to base. Again, Aerodrome being the primary DEX on the base ecosystem that has been a big part of why we have been fans of it. So it just seems like every time Ethereum gets a win, it turns into a win for base these days. Base far and away the number one L2 on Ethereum, and seems to be turning into wins for Aerodrome. So love to see it.
Huge wins. And we're seeing a lot of wins with ETH. Now we are seeing, not much of a green candle, limping in with the green candle, but there's a Satoshi era whale just bought $1.3 billion worth of ETH. Now you might be saying, Satoshi era, doesn't that mean Bitcoin? Well, this is just how it is labeled on, I believe this CoinGlass here. And you can see they've labeled them Satoshi era ETH whale. So this is someone that's been in crypto very, very early. You could track probably 10 years ago, looking at some exchange wallets. There's a linkage here between the Satoshi era Bitcoin whale turned into an ETH whale. And this person is buying insane amounts here. It's a little bit difficult to see. So let me open in a new tab. Look at these dollars amounts. 40 million, 60 million, 10 million, 80 million, 200 million, 30 million, 70 million. This guy, 156, 111, 210, 175. Massive amounts of ETH, just steady accumulation.
Yeah, serious accumulation.
Very, very serious accumulation. And also another big catalyst, ignore the picture, y'all. Another big catalyst for ETH is going to be an upgrade in less than a month. December 3rd, it's the Fusaka upgrade. They're calling it the performance era. I don't know if maybe people in the ETH Foundation and they're Taylor Swift fans. This is going to be the performance era, but more transactions, lower fees, higher throughput, more users. That's going to be, that's a little bit of a prediction there. Higher demand, also a little bit of prediction. But the whales are buying billions of ETH ahead of this update. And that takes us to our main story right here. JP Morgan rolling out JPM coin, leveraging Coinbase's base, Ethereum L2. And this is going to be called JPM coin. It's a digital deposit token, not a stable coin, for institutional clients, marking a major move into digital assets. Now, this has near instantaneous transfers, leveraging base. And unlike stablecoins, these deposit tokens are digital claims on existing bank funds and can be interest-bearing, offering a new option for institutional investors. Now, banks, they must turn a profit. They have to pay for the brick buildings. They got to pay for the executive salaries. They got to pay for the teller. They got to pay for the electricity. So the way they make money is they take your cash, and while you're sleeping, while you're going to work, they turn your cash into a little bit more cash. They'll turn that $100 into $101. And now they're able to digitize this via base. You really can't understate how major this is for Ethereum and the base ecosystem.
No, I mean, it's going to bring maximum efficiency to a very dated industry, which is finance. So high incentives, but very dated technology. It's going to do everything that many of us thought crypto was going to do when we first got into this. Speed up the world by 5 to 7 business days, bring the efficiency up dramatically in transfers, and like you just said, the energy cost and all the different costs it takes to move all this stuff around. Now it can happen instantaneously for much lower prices, and it will create a decade at least, if not way more, worth of opportunity of yes, jobs will get eliminated by this, but many more are going to be created. Many new softwares are going to be launched, many new businesses. Just like when the internet came along, it didn't mean the end of businesses, right? It meant many more businesses could exist. Now you could have an online business for the first time ever. It's going to be
I was a phone book salesman, though. I was a phone book salesman. I lost my job.
Right, exactly. The guy who was selling phone books lost his job because every phone had a phone book built into it. But then, the App Store comes along and bazillion more jobs come out. Same thing's going to happen with finance going on chain. Yes, it's going to eliminate a lot of the in-office brick and mortar location style jobs, but it's going to create many more when it comes to smart contract auditing or smart contract what's not efficiency isn't the word, but optimization. There's going to be way more things going on, and there's going to be new skills and new technical things to learn, and it's going to create new jobs. And it's beautiful to see it actually happening. It does really, crypto blockchain for me, it's one of the few things that does inspire me for the future, where I can see a much brighter future ahead due to things like Bitcoin and smart contracts seeing their place in society. So it's very, very exciting.
All right, we did have a super chat asking about ICP. We gave you the ICP blueprint there. We did say, look, there's a very strong trend line, and you need to take profit around that area. Hopefully you guys listen. Hopefully you did take some profit. And I shared that I was actually shorting ICP yesterday. We did close it in profit. I've closed my short. I'm not still shorting it. But I would say, take profits on that one very, very quickly. And I would wait for a retest. I would want to wait till we came back above this trend line and maybe bounce. Right now might be a time to hedge some of those positions there. I'll give you one more 4-hour RSI. A lot of bearish divergence. This was screaming sell, screaming sell. Hopefully you did listen. But now we're seeing the RSI start to turn around on the 4 hours. So let's go to the 1 hour. All right, now you're getting some bull divs on the 1 hour. So maybe you got a little bit too oversold, which is, a normal thing when something's hot like that. So maybe not paper hand it right now. Wouldn't capitulate right now, but you could probably wait for this RSI to turn around on the 1 hour. And I would definitely take some profit when we get near this resistance line. I wouldn't wait for it to go above, bounce, and then take profit. I would be exiting that position somewhere along there. But let's get back to the JP coin here. Rollout allows payments in, to TJ's point, basically instantly, seconds, anytime, around the clock, rather than taking days and being restricted to business hours, and follows a months-long trial involving major players like MasterCard, Coinbase, and B2C2. Now, they eventually plan to deploy the token on other blockchains. There is going to be alpha here. Let's stop. TJ, throw out a winner. I got one in my mind. Chat, I'm very interested in what you're thinking. JP Morgan starts with base on ETH. Is the next move maybe a different L1, maybe a different L2? Well, what is your prediction for JP Morgan's next move? Chat, what are you guys thinking too?
You mean like where else would it be integrated into?
Yes.
Not counting base, so like USDC on base.
Number 2. Yeah, what's the number 2 platform protocol?
Number 2 protocol, I would say probably Solana would be my guess.
Oh, okay. I'm coming in with something different. Now we got SWI, we got Solana. Maybe someone's going to guess what I'm thinking. You might be able to. You're bullish on this project that I'm thinking. I'll give you a hint.
Well,
DMV. DMV.
Oh, Avalanche. Yeah, I could see Avalanche being another one that definitely. I mean, those are the ones that, to me, that seem to be winning those L1 protocol wars. It's Ethereum, far and away, has a very big leg up when it comes to infrastructure. But the other two kind of bidding for a seat at the table would be Solana and Avalanche in a pretty major way. So.
No.
But you could also say, most likely anything that Chainlink integrates with, which would include Solana, which would include Avalanche, and several others. Most likely, that's where I see it going next. Is they will integrate with. I mean, Ethereum base gets them any EVM. So as long as they can interact again with like Aave and a lot, Ethereum, Chainlink, kind of the core infrastructure of the EVM, then they'll be fine. But I do think it'll expand to Solana and Avalanche.
All right. Now, interesting detail about this collateralized coin that you're able to basically have all these JP Morgan assets on base. The coin is going to be accepted as collateral on Coinbase. So, there's a lot of people kind of game theorying what this is going to look like. They settle it. It lands on Coinbase. They get USDC on base, and they're able to deploy that USDC maybe into Bitcoin, maybe into ETH, maybe into whatever Coinbase might offer in the future. And this is following the Genius Act, which governs stablecoins or dollar-pegged digital tokens. And other banks have similar solutions in the cards. Bank of BNY, Bank of New York Mellon, HSBC, and others are also developing similar deposit token solutions. We are going to see this reverberate This is very, very exciting if you're in the base ecosystem. And if you've been following it, what Drew's been calling out, what TJ, what we've all been saying, you're holding Aerodrome, now is the time to celebrate. Coinbase, we said they do have the regulatory approval. They have Trump's ear. They're talking to CFTC commissioners. They're trying to be compliant. They tried to work with the SEC. They're one of the better good faith actors in America, and it's probably a good horse to bet on. And now these bets are starting to pay off. So pat yourself on the back, smash that like button. If you just believed in Bald Brian, if you believe in the Bald founders.
In the bait, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's definitely a good day, but really this is step one. If you guys not only hold Aerodrome, but if you start to participate, I know DeFi Crypto Airdrops, one of our brother channels out there who does a lot of this stuff, covers a lot of it. If you guys haven't checked him out, make sure to go do so. But if you're doing this stuff like we've been doing, like we've got Aerodrome Lops, we're providing liquidity on several different, whether it's Solana or Ethereum based, several different chains and ecosystems, dexes. What's exciting about this is the level of volume that's going to be coming into this space, because if you've been doing it for a while, it doesn't take that big of an uptake in volume for your fees to go absolutely bananas when you're not even in a super tight range, even in somewhat of a wider range. So if you can start to participate in these transactions and really to be a liquidity provider and participate, it's not that hard. It really isn't as hard as it used to be. It's getting easier. There's better tools out there for picking ranges and finding ranges, being in correlated pools. But when somebody like a JP Morgan, you're talking about trillions of stuff that gets moved through and settled. If they really do, and it looks like all signs point to they are going to be settling things on chain, it's going to be more and more over the next several decades. But as that starts to happen, the volume that's going to be happening on base, on Aerodrome, is going to be insane. It's going to be astronomical. And the amount of fees, the amount of earning potential you're going to be able to have on your base assets, kind of like what DZ was just saying. Somebody deposits an underlying JP Morgan coin, and then it gets transferred into USDC, and then it's out there in DeFi. It's out there, you're earning yield and flowing through that ecosystem. If you're on the other side of that and you're participating in the infrastructure, and that's what gets me so excited about crypto, is you can actually do that now. It's not gated off to everybody else. There's a lot of money to be made, and it's really not that hard. You can make it from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to have millions of dollars. Yeah, if you only had one shot, don't sit on your cash like Warren Buffett did. Actually take that shot and deploy it into DeFi and make that money. So
there you go. Yeah, it's a great quote. I think it was from his latest shareholder meeting, TJ.
Yeah.
Maybe someone said it was from someone else. They said it first, but I think it was him.
I think he popularized that one for sure.
Yeah, he gave it to Marshall. That's actually what happened there. He was the ghostwriter for the rap battles there. All right, let's talk about these whales. What's going on with Bitcoin? A Satoshi era whale sold all 100% of his Bitcoin, $1.5 billion. Now, presume that this is multiple wallets for this whale here. Didn't sell his entire stash, but let's game theory that out. Let's have a thought experiment. Why would you sell every single last coin they have? Maybe you could at least hodl 2%. Let's assume this was all of his coins. Why would an ancient whale completely sell all their Bitcoin?
Well, I saw the same post. You don't know that's all their Bitcoin, right?
Right.
It's just a wallet. So most likely if it's an ancient whale with a wallet like that, you've got more than one wallet. But B, there's massive, massive tax advantages to doing this. So my guess would be you're porting over most of this for the tax advantages and for having it in a different vehicle. And then you've still got some on the side. Somebody like this probably has, I have a, 30 million on the side just in case kind of thing. But if you've got billions,
we all have 30 million on the side just in case. I love those little stashes there. Thoughts on the Monad drop on Coinbase soon? So I had a theory. It's like, all right, well, how Monad does is a good bellwether for the subsequent ICOs. So the number 2 one, the number 3 one, they said they're going to do about one a month. So if Monad does well, expect a good one in January, a good one in February, and then maybe, kind of gauge the market. I was talking to an AI founder yesterday, TJ, and he said, no, they're all going to pump. What are your thoughts on that theory? Monad's going to pump. The next one's going to pump. They're all going to pump.
I think there's a chance we're heading into that phase. We're looking at this right now. I thought this was interesting. Coinbase really is setting itself up to be a dominant player here. Coinbase One members can request up to 5x more tokens. So they're going to be limiting how much you get from this. We talked about it. I think we talked about it on here yesterday. that they also are going to be incentivizing you not to sell your tokens as soon as you get them either. So I believe Coinbase's token launching system that's going to be launching here soon is going to be relevant. It's going to be very desirable to launch on if you are a new. It's basically going to be the new IPO. This is going to be the equivalent. It may not launch this way today, but over time, this will become the equivalent of getting a stock, be an IPO, getting listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's going to be just as significant to have a token launch on Coinbase. And I think that's what, finance is starting to see. This entire system can be done better. So
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, I think they will be juiced, especially early. Monad's been building for forever, 4 years, 5 years, however long. They can't afford, if Monad stumbles out of the gate, it's gonna be a lot of people are gonna be calling for the bear market for
It'll
sure.
be like the Pulse chain launch.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the end right there. Now,
Right.
TJ, yesterday I decided to look like my trad bro self here. And let me make sure I'm not showing them. I got my first crypto card yesterday. Went ahead, I got the Coinbase card.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
finally came in the mail. And I was like, why aren't I earning 3% of my purchases back in
Yeah.
Bitcoin? Why not?
Yeah, everybody should be doing. I looked into getting this too. I wish they would do it for businesses. They don't do it for businesses. It's only individuals.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, you'd be making a lot if you're doing it as a business. But yeah, great cards. I think Coinbase is doing an incredible job. So
I like the bald founders there. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin, everybody. This is an awesome chart. Over 5 million Bitcoin. I say it's awesome. It's terrible news that leads to good news, but 5 million Bitcoin are now at a loss. Great news. But this is a threshold reached only during major market resets. It marked capitulation mid-2024, and then again, April 25. Both preceded strong recoveries. Right now, back to 5.6 million. You can see the number right here is the 5 million. So this number right here on the left side is when we reach 5 million at a loss. You see that did mark a local bottom, another local bottom, then another local bottom. This is a lot of leverage getting washed out. If you recall, it can't go below 80. Oh, we went to 74K. Right here for the price. And then another one right here. You can see a nice spike. This is pretty close to a little above 5 million. That ended up being a bottom. Right now, 5.6 million coins at a loss. Are we going to get the one bounce recovery or the triple bounce? I'm not sure, but either way, it bounces every time, folks. It bounces every time. That to me is the key takeaway there.
No, that's cool. That's like a shortened version of the net unrealized profit and loss.
Yeah, a little bit of a nuke.
Yeah, and that in the past had been one of the better indicators of cycle tops and bottoms. When you get a large percentage of the holders in major profit, more likely to see profit taking. When a lot of people are in a loss, you're probably near a bottom. And so again, that's what I was saying the other day. When markets are angry and fearful, that's not usually a top. That's generally not the top. So I still think, again, I know people get frustrated with me. It's what feels like a moving target with the shutdown and all this sort of stuff. But I really do think liquidity drives it. And when the liquidity comes in, that's when you're going to get that blow off top. It looks like, end of this year, still December, maybe early next year. That's what I'm thinking right now. We'll keep you updated. I know people don't like to hear that, but I just want to remind you, if you're investing, have a long-term time horizon, have a long-term outlook, and you'll have a much better time. If you need this money today or tomorrow, you're going to be stressed.
Yeah, don't buy Bitcoin today to sell tomorrow. That's for sure. But speaking of Bitcoin, Binance Whales done something, a very, very shocking chart when you see this visually here. So we're seeing massive Binance Bitcoin withdrawals. This is going to be a bullish news here. And after we filled the latest CME gap, Bitcoin took time to establish new local lows before it started heading higher. Now, this is from Dan Crypto Trades, trending up on the lower time frame, but needs to break 107. If it can do so, we retake the range. We're heading back to 120-ish. Meanwhile, the bears, Crypto Tony, suggests the price would not seal that resistance reclaim and described 107. That's where you short. So now is when you short. This is saying, no, this is when it's going to start bouncing back strong. So we got the bulls and the bears kind of on either side here. But Crypto Quant coming in with something very bullish. It's making me think that the bull is going to be correct here. Binance users had begun to withdraw significant amounts of Bitcoin, potentially signaling new accumulation phase. And this started early November. So not October 10th, nothing to do with the chicanery that we saw a month ago, but we saw a sudden spike in Bitcoin withdrawal transactions, one of the largest surges of 2025. You see it right there, but wait till I zoom in on this thing. Purple line is Binance Bitcoin withdrawals. You can see October 10th, huge withdrawal. People, taking their, or I'm sorry, depositing, sell. Look how giant that spike is right there. Withdrawing transactions. Totally insane. This is going all the way back to last year. So huge outlier. Some weird things going on with Binance. Now let's talk a little bit about the inflows here. Major news with the inflows. I got an assessment that's going to knock your socks off. So if you got some shoelaces, tie them tight. All right. I need these shoelaces tight. This is going to blow your minds, folks. Bitcoin ETFs came back 524 million in inflows. It's the best day since the market crashed. So very good day for Wall Street buying Bitcoin. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole article because I got my own assessment here. Now, this is the breakdown. You can see massive red withdrawal days. I mean, 29th was terrible. The 30th was terrible. We had a little bit of an inflow here. Then another massive withdrawal. Then yesterday, there was like hundreds of millions in volume, 1.2 million. It's like a joke. It's like Wall Street spitting in our face, spitting in our open mouth. I hate it. But then I see 524 million largely snapping the red streak here. What happened last time we had a streak of outflows and then come in with 500 million or more of inflows? I hope you're sitting down. I had to go all the way back to September. I was researching this morning, and you can see this looks a lot like what we saw in October. We got red days, a green, a day in the black or a day in the green, and then more red days. Here you can see, all right, we got some red days. So we have this like one outlier, then more red days. Then we came out the gate with $518 million in inflows. This time we came out the gate with $524 million in inflows. Very similar setups. I hope you guys would concur. So what happened to Bitcoin on September 9th? What happened? Or I'm sorry. All right, so let's go. Boom. September 29th, rather. Huge rally for Bitcoin. Now, was it the exact bottom? It basically bottomed out a couple days before. Similar to right here, we had that, little bit of an inflow, kind of marking the bottom. September, we had that little bit of an inflow, kind of marking the bottom. 3 days prior, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Huge upside for Bitcoin. And now we're at a very similar situation. My prediction might come true, TJ. I'm going to leave the prediction here.
Yeah, that looks good. I mean, we are supposedly getting a vote for government shutdown ending today at 4 or 5. That could be a catalyst that sends that rally back up. That could be what people are waiting for. We did hear right before the show, not likely to get the market structure bill by Thanksgiving, which is a bummer because I do think that's going to rocket things up too. But yeah, interesting analysis there. Interesting correlation. We'll see if it plays out. We do have prices falling right now. A lot of people in the chat talking about at least down almost back to 102. So
yeah, let's go to the 1 hour. Let's see if we hit some levels. Oh, looks like we did wick below. This is going to clear all this liquidity here. I'm super glad I closed my Zcash long and profit. Guys, it's probably dumping as well. And, presumably the next liquidity grab is going to, grab this area right here. There's no guarantee you're going to see it hit into this range, but, very good odds. We come into this. I mean, it looks like it's trying to do it on the 1 minute. Okay. All right. So it rejected right before. When it knocks on the door, sometimes it knocks again, folks. So this is my prediction is we are going to crab into this, and then it's up to the Bulls and the Bears. Like we said, there's a battle going on ideologically between the Bulls and the Bears. We got JP Morgan. It's very bullish news. People are going to long the markets, and people are going to get a little too greedy, and that leverage is going to need to be washed out. That's what we're seeing right now, actually.
Yeah, that always seems to be what happens is everybody gets greedy with the leverage, gets washed out, and that's why we can't have nice things. So
I blame them. It is always their fault, folks. It's always their fault. Now, I was going to do some copy pasta for you. There's some new shills, but what I do have are a very particular set of shills. Shills I have acquired over a very long career. Shills that make me a nightmare for tourists like you. If you let the sell button go, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will shill you. That's Cardio. That's a good one from
Mert.
Mert. Started out ETH Whale, moved into Solana builder, one of the top builders. Helios CEO. You see Helios doing a lot of deals. He's like best friends with Anatoly. Now he's just a full-blown Zcash shill.
Yeah. On it all the time. But Hey, good for him.
Interesting lore. And careful of this guy. I think he shilled a coin that rugged.
Yeah, well,
There's
one.
competing.
Yeah, at least. Yeah,
Yeah, he got, I think, zacked yesterday or something. But he called me out for, because he argues with Josh all the time, and he called me out for a Zcash short. And he like tagged me and Josh. I looked at I was like, where's he even getting this? I went to my timeline. The top post was Zcash video, why I'm buying. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you literally just don't know what you're talking. I didn't even reply like, who are you? I was like, I'm not even going to give him the time of day. But
yeah, he's an old school. Been around. He's been in crypto creator scene since like 2017. It's one of the OGs.
Right. Don't even type his name in the chat, Huck.
Yeah.
All right, now we do. Speaking of Zcash, the reason I brought up that copy pasta, very major news for Zcash digital asset treasury. We have Leap Therapeutics, is a Cambridge-based biotech firm. TJ, what else is in Cambridge?
A lot of which one? Like the OG Cambridge? Oh, Massachusetts, MIT.
A bunch of colleges, a lot of colleges. You know who went to college there? Oh, Winklevi.
Oh, Harvard.
The Winklevi. So this is a digital asset strategy backed by the Winklevi twins. $58 million private placement. And it's going to, so these are going to be the Gemini founders, it's according to Decrypt there. So big news for Zcash. Looks like 203,000 tokens. I haven't done the math to see. Okay, they got in at 245. Oh my God, they're coming out the gate with what's the current price? I mean, they're coming out the gate like 120 million dollars in assets. So
yeah, I'm sure it's funny. This was the one when my very first time I purchased Zcash was way back in 2018, and it was basically because at the time Gemini the exchange I think only had Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, three coins, and then Zcash was like the fourth project they listed. And so I was like, well, if they can get listed on an exchange, that might show something. And I look at the Winklevi, like, hey, they've got some kind of insight or some kind of insider information on this. So they've been Zcash bulls literally since the beginning of Zcash. So interesting to see them doing this treasury.
Also, a coin you get early on Coinbase as well. Now, let's talk about crypto ETFs. Ignore the highlighting here. This is 21 shares. 21 shares now has a new top 10 crypto ETF. It's going to be Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, XRP, Solana, Doge, Cardano, Hype, Link, Sui. These are the three that are coming in, to me, very interesting, because now outside of this, Cardano, whether or not you have staked ETH on there, this is the top 10. Essentially, you have some stable coins on there. You have Tether, you have USDC. This is the top 10. Now we get into, they're kind of choosing winners.
Yeah.
TJ.
No, this is an interesting list.
Sui.
What do you, in chat, let us know what you guys think. Is there anything that's missing from this list or anything you would take off? Like, to me, I don't think I would leave Dogecoin on there. I'm not, just because maybe I hate meme coins. I don't know. But to me,
and
it's like,
almost as much Doge as Solana, more Doge than Cardano. Yeah, to me, the weight is also very interesting.
Dogecoin is off there, but I do think it's very interesting. A lot of these don't have Binance coin in there. Where's Tron at? Like, is that?
Oh yeah, no Tron outside the top 10.
So
I was thinking, he's missing. Yeah, he's missing Tron.
Yeah, so they skipped Tron. I would probably swap Dogecoin for Tron. The most of the replace it with AVAX and Virtual. We know Steve.
A lot of people want XRP off the list there. Why do you guys are hating on some XRP? I got XRP bull news later on. No one's adding your altcoin there. No one's adding.
Everybody's got Chainlink or Link's already in there. So no, I think it's interesting. Adding Hyperliquid, I think makes a lot of sense. Sui, again, yeah, I might lean more towards Avalanche than Sui. But I do believe we're going to see a lot of these types of products, and I think they're going to perform extremely well. And that's just going to add to more people, wanting to roll products like this out. And if you just have it say we're going to stick to a top 10, we're going to have exposure to top 10 digital assets, it will, almost like an S&P, almost like a top 100 or top 10 index for the stock market. You get that for this. I think it's going to perform really well.
Sweet. Have you seen Deliverance, TJ?
I know which clip you're talking about, but no, I haven't seen that. No.
I will not comment on that movie. There's a lot of crazy scenes. So let's just move on, everybody. We'll move on. We're not going to talk about Deliverance. You're trying to get me sidetracked here. But XRP bold news. Smash the likes if you like the XRP news here. First US spot XRP ETF could go live on Thursday. This is a very big news. This is from Canary Funds, and it would be the first pure spot ETF to list in the United States for XRP. following their filing of the Form 8A with the SEC yesterday. So there's a wrinkle in this story. They filed on Veterans Day. I think this is Eric Balchunas. Yeah, Eric Balchunas here, friend of the channel. Canary filed for this last night, which points to a launch tomorrow or maybe Thursday. So because yesterday was a holiday, so we might have seen it today. We might see the XRP ETF today, but yesterday being Veterans Day, probably going to throw this off. Now, when you want to know about crypto ETFs, I would point to Eric Balchunas, James Seifert. They are the Bloomberg bros. They definitely know the crypto ETFs. They have all the inside information. They have all these people on speed dial here. God, am I old for saying speed dial? Is that a boomer phrase?
That probably is. Yeah, that's not people aren't used to that anymore.
So they have these numbers memorized for their rotary phones. You know, they're calling them up. They're calling them up. But Thursday was the day we thought they'd be on track. But when they did HBAR was a next day launch. So not a done deal, but the boxes are being checked. Stay tuned for an XRP ETF. Let's look at XRP. I wonder what XRP's price is going to do. We're looking at the 1 hour. Let's go to the daily. Remember, we looked at the 3 charts yesterday. I mean, is this almost an upside down head and shoulders? Maybe. We still need to get to that neckline. RSI's, looking fairly neutral. We're not really getting a clear direction on the 4 hour. Not looking the best here. But if we go to the weekly, also not looking the best. We'll do one more thing. Money flow is still green. Still got a green money flow, but this thing, that thing looks like it's clipping. Looks like we're making what they call the turtle, TJ. Maybe it's not a turtle just yet, but turtles like to move in 4s, so that might be something to watch as well. So XRP, are you guys bullish on XRP? TJ, people think you hate it. Are you bullish or bearish on XRP?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I do think when everything rallies, it can make another leg up. I mean, but right now what we're seeing is Bitcoin falling back below 102, and when Bitcoin's falling, it's very hard for any altcoins to perform well. Zcash has as of late, but for the Aerodrome is one that I like that's been performing well. But yeah, I think a lot of again, coming back to what I was just talking about with those top 10 indexes, I do believe when the market structure bill comes, when new liquidity comes into the market, we will see a lot of the majors rally. And XRP will be part of that rally. Solana will be part of that rally. Chainlink, Cardano, Avalanche. I do think we will see them recover and make up some ground against Bitcoin. The hard part is just predicting the when on that. So Bitcoin still performing well and still looking very, very good. Altcoins have been beat up very much against Bitcoin lately. Many people I know in this chat and in this office are ready for an altcoin rally. Bitcoin is the king. Just keep that in mind. That's why it's always good to keep majority in Bitcoin. But I do believe, yes, when 2026, whenever that big, beautiful bill kicks in, whenever the new money comes in, we will see, many of the top altcoins have a significant rally.
Don't forget to hit the like button, says Green Day. Don't hit the dislike. But you know what? If you're having a bad day and it makes you feel better, I don't mind. I'll be your whipping boy. I will take that. I'll take your lashes, folks. Okay, I'll take your lashes. All right, let's move on from XRP. Next ETF news, we have Chainlink. Chainlink ETF is now appearing on the Digital Depository Trust Clearing Corporation's registry, tipping also a pending launch for Chainlink's ETF. And so this is usually a positive sign that the fund is moving closer to the launch. Listings don't guarantee that they're going to approve it, but historically, it's a good indicator that it will be approved. And if you don't know what DTCC is, Post-Trade Market Infrastructure Platform. This is where they clear, settle, and record all the transactions. It's the Amazon warehouse for all these, basically for all these trades, for all these big legacy corporations. Bitwise is yet to file the Form 8A. That's what we were talking about with XRP. One of the final documents that must be lodged before they're offered on an exchange. So that is going to show that the sign is imminent. So keep an eye out on that. And if you're wondering what's going on, government shutdown is still slowing the process here. Dozens of ETFs are currently awaiting approval amid the shutdown in its 42nd day, but should be ending very, very soon. TJ, I wonder, we're like 99% on government shutdown yesterday. Oh, now they got individual days. Okay,
it should be. Today I think is leading the charge. I mean, it's like one of those. They go to vote around 4 o'clock, I think, today, so it'll probably be late tonight or this afternoon or something, like who knows. And it's got to get through committee, and the whole thing is just crazy to me. The way that what's holding it up is stuff that has nothing to do. It has something to do with THC farming or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, and to me, the whole thing is these are just fake reasons. I think they need to have a little bit of a because. I think a lot of smart analysts were saying, well, Schumer is signaling he wants this until the election. Then the election happened. You can't really end on the Wednesday after the election. You kind of have to throw a little bit of a fit so people don't think it was related to the election. That's my theory. That's my hypothesis. I don't know if that's, I can't read Chuck Schumer's mind, but the man eats raw hamburger. So, he might be like a vampire. There's no brain signals there. Even if I had clairvoyant powers, it would just be a void.
Yeah, there you go.
It'd be like, was it Twilight? Didn't they do that in Twilight or something? Is there like mind reading?
Could be. I'm not.
I can't remember. I don't know. I just know they're sparkly. Anyway, so let's move on. All right, I'm gonna leave this one for Drew and Kelly to talk about because they are the ones talking about Canton Network. But Franklin Templeton now expanding the Benji tech platform to the Canton Network. So tune in later. We are going to be having a stream later on today. We're going to let Drew cover that. Now, we do have a little political news here. A new CFTC chair is going to be facing a hearing after Trump pulled the first pick there. Of course, that was Quinten's, I think is how you say it. New one, Michael Selig. He's currently chief counsel for the U.S. SEC. This is a Washington insider. He's going to face questioning from senators next week in his hearing to consider his nomination of the chair of the CFTC. Again, assuming the government's going to reopen, probably going to reopen. Quinten's, not Quintez, whom Trump appointed in February or nominated, he was put in hold in July amid reports that the Winklevi were pushing another candidate. So it seems like the Winklevi, a little quid pro quo, maybe a little cronyism, maybe a little corruption here. And later, Quinten's released the private text between him and the Winklevi, signaling the Gemini co-founders were seeking certain assurances regarding enforcement actions of the CFTC. It was like the mob or something.
No, we covered it. I mean, I didn't think it was anything all that dramatic. I mean, it was a little like
it wasn't black and white. It was like, we would like assurances. We won't be targeted.
Yeah, we just want to know what your take is on this thing. And he basically said he's not going to say. And
he was a Boy Scout about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange to me. My guess is something else happened as to why he was getting held up, and then he wanted somebody to point at or something. I don't know. It's interesting, but I didn't think it was too out of left field with the questions they were asking. But
yeah. I think he obviously was a little uncomfortable, or like you said, really really good chance something else is happening there. I do want to give flowers for John Deaton. He is running again. Now, he did lose to Elizabeth Warren. That was my first poly market bet. I think I went in and I sold after his, I think a debate or something like that. But yeah, so this is actually, Deaton got me into poly market. I just wanted to bet against Elizabeth Warren ideologically there. But John Deaton, he's going to be running for Massachusetts senator. He did lose in 2024 to Elizabeth Warren. And at a Monday event in Worcester, he announced that he would run for Senate again in 2026. So there's Senate elections every 6 years. Massachusetts has 24, 26, and then it'll go back to 30 and 32. This time he's attempting to unseat Democratic Senator Ed Markey. Now, the lawyer ran as a Republican in 24, and he lost to Warren, who is a Democrat, by about 700,000 votes. Pretty significant when you look at their population. But who is this Ed Markey? Ed Markey has been a senator for a long time. Markey, which is surprising because Markey's going to be 80 years old next year. 80 years old. I think he came in 2014. He voted against the passage of the Genius stablecoin bill. All right, so he's not a fan of crypto. And he called out crypto mining for its extravagant electricity use. So now he's just doing baseless FUD.
So also he's an idiot. Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's carrying water for the banks. He's carrying water for Elizabeth Warren. This is what he looks like, in case you guys were wondering. A real photo. This is a real photo. This is him after waking up next to the prostitute when she screamed, "Where's my money?" That's what it looks like. He looks like he woke up in a dingy motel room.
Yeah, he looks like he's having a rough day.
Now, he is a Massachusetts senator, but TJ, did you know he has a mansion in Maryland? This is his Maryland mansion. He's like I said, insider, DC insider. It's like you said, he's mad about Bitcoin electricity usage. That's really all you need to know. So this is not a fan of crypto. I will be doing, maybe we'll get Deaton on the show to talk about his campaign, because we do like people that champion crypto. But speaking of political appointments, political insiders, A16Z is now lobbying on behalf of national security. All right, there's really not much you should trust out of Mark Andreessen, Ben Horowitz. They're very, very closely aligned with, let's just say the State Department and its views on the tech industry writ large. But now they're advocating for ZKP identity, privacy first identity here. So Andreessen Horowitz has urged the Treasury to adopt decentralized digital identity solutions here. Now, they say this is going to strengthen national security and protect civil liberties. Okay, so yeah, government, get involved with privacy to protect our civil liberties. Doesn't make much sense to me. In a formal response regarding the Genius Act, they stated that FinCEN must update its AML framework, its anti-money laundering framework, to encompass ZK technology, to accommodate proven privacy-centric innovation, such as zero-knowledge proofs and multi-party computation. Multi-party computation is used for, I want to say it's used for how they batch Moneros. So, if you do a Monero transaction, they like hide it with 99 fake transactions. So that's the multi-party computation. I believe, I'm not a developer, but so correct me if I'm wrong. But with digital identity verification requiring low cost of maintenance compared to traditional way, they believe it will enhance compliance, reduce fraud, and improve detection of illicit transactions. So basically saying if we can get a regulatory framework, we don't need Zach XBTs out there. Everything will have backdoors for the State Department for us to just basically track everybody, track everything, track every wallet.
Yeah, I mean, but really what zero knowledge proofs allows, now I understand your hesitancy and your caution on understanding the messenger of like what this what the true motivation behind this is, but really what's of now technologically possible with zero knowledge proofs is for people to prove, because they use anti-money laundering and know your customer laws as kind of their tool to get all people's information, right? And it's some people who are saying like, hey, wait a minute, I shouldn't have to give you all of my information. I'm not doing anything wrong. I shouldn't be required. Privacy is a basic human right. And now with things like zero knowledge proofs, there is a way that I can prove I am who I say I am without giving you, like, say, for example, DZ, you're the other party. You want to verify I'm, a legitimate person and that I'm not doing illicit things. Now I can now verify that provably on chain without giving that information to you. So, or another third party, which has been, for example, like what's the flying people? I can't think of it right now. At the airport.
TSA.
Yeah, no, but it's like when you scan through and you get through early and like, because you
is the pre-check or the clear?
Yeah, clear. That's what I'm trying to say. So for example, now there could be a clear type service without requiring a clear type entity holding everybody's company. I can just scan into this thing, say, okay, I'm going to use my zero knowledge proof that verifies I am who I say I am. I'm legitimate. Okay, yep, you're clear without me having to have all your information. And because of that tech, we can actually do that now. We actually can have better systems in place to where privacy still gets maintained and the issuer has a better understanding of their customer. So hopefully we can move in that direction. But yes, anybody that's looking at this, you need to be moving forward with extreme caution, because we do know states and governments generally don't want individuals to have privacy and sovereignty. And so they're going to maintain control or attempt to maintain control at all costs. So, yeah.
All right. Now, I will say, how do we make money off of this? At the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here for financial freedom. So I've talked about this in the past. A16Z is like a little coy with what they've invested in. If you go to like their portfolio page, if you try to Google it, it's going to take you here. And you're going to see this. So you kind of have like, oh yeah, this is what we have. If you keep scrolling, they're like, oh no, there's a longer list. But if you keep digging, there's a really long list. And in the really long list, I haven't had time to investigate every single one of these just yet. I'm probably going to put AI on this. I want to see which of these have a token. Maybe it's launched in the last, say, 2 to 4 years, because, after that, they probably have kind of withdrawn their initial investment. So what has ZK knowledge or ZK proofs? What's last 2 years? What has a token? And see if anything surprises us. Now, I did try to cheat and just say, like, is there anything with ZK in the name? I didn't see anything there. But yeah, it's going to take me a little bit of some sleuthing here, folks. There's a lot. they've invested in a lot of companies there, TJ.
They have, yeah. They're one of the earliest ones, and very early in crypto as well. A lot of stuff. Obviously, they're probably one of the better known VC firms in crypto.
Yeah, definitely one of the, yeah. I mean, they're very, very, very powerful. Now we have breaking news from Eleanor Terrett. New industry wants more clarity on the Senate market structure draft. So someone quote tweeted Eleanor and said, Trump said he'll sign the proposal if it reaches his desk. If the vote passes tonight, government could reopen. Talk about, government's probably going to reopen today, tomorrow. And so Chad, he tried to be a Chad here. Wait a minute. Let me just, professional game designer. Okay. Self-taught biologist. Taylor Swift GIF poster. All right, Chad. It does take Chad energy to go out there and post a Taylor Swift post, but he said we could have clarity by Thanksgiving. We could have it by Thanksgiving. She said, definitely not. Why? Committee markups aren't scheduled until early December. So maybe that's the new timeline for Clarity Act passage. You heard it here first,
which is a bummer. The sooner we can get that done, the sooner we can resume the bull market. I was hoping we could see it by Thanksgiving, but now, it looks like they're pushing that out to December, and that really is what allows. Like we're seeing JP Morgan make moves. We covered SoFi making moves yesterday, but really getting that bill out and done is what will allow all the banks to go in hot and heavy, start tokenizing their treasuries, and that's when the game gets real interesting. What do you got?
Share the screen.
Ooh, right into the range.
Now, I'm not saying it's going to bounce from here, but that was definitely a long entry right there. That was a long entry all day. If you did, clip it, take your profit. Because if you're long in here, you're probably some degen using 25x or higher. Just get out of that trade, man. Get out immediately. Now, I did have a little thought experiment. I don't think I could click. You know what? I'll copy it. I haven't had time to post this. This is giving you the insight and how DZ thinks through his posts here. Unpopular opinion. Alt season will never come again. Too many altcoins, not enough money to pump everything. My theory is there will be an alt season, but it's going to be like the stock market where we have that magnificent 7, where there will be a few winners that change people's lives, but there are going to be many losers. And that's why you can't just half-ass your way into crypto. You really got to pay attention because narratives change on a dime. Government shutdown, narratives change on a dime. So many things are changing so quickly in this industry. So that's why we appreciate if you are a member or if you're a subscriber or if you're even smashing the like button. It really does help us out. And it helps you out because we're all trying to get rich together. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah. And exciting seeing crypto moving forward. I 100% agree with that assessment there. I do think that's what we've been experiencing this market. We've had some market outliers that have been great runners that we've made a lot of good money on, changed some lives. But far and away, a lot of people holding altcoins that are just stuck in one altcoin have been very frustrated. So you got to stay active. You got to stay involved and educated, which is what we try to do here every single day. And thanks for hanging out. Hit the like button on your way out. Let us know which coins you want us to look into, and we will do our best to keep you in the know.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.